The rumors about Xi Jinping's downfall were just conspiracy theories. Recently, there was a major event in China called the Fourth Plenary Session. However, looking at the results of this event, it turns out that Xi Jinping's power has only become more solidified. Let's examine this topic. China's Fourth Plenary Session ended on the 23rd. At the Fourth Plenary Session, they approved the draft 15th Five-Year Plan for Economic and Social Development from 2026 to 2030. They also completed personnel appointments, naming Jiang Xiaomin, the current member of the Central Military Commission, as vice chairman of the party's Central Military Commission, and newly appointing 11 members to the party's Central Committee. Many rumors, particularly on YouTube and in Chinese language media, claim Zhang Yuxia has taken military control and Xi Jinping will soon step down. YouTube channels discussing these power loss rumors often claimed Xi Jinping would step down during the Fourth Plenary Session, with Zhang Yuxia replacing him. I once uploaded a video saying that these rumors about losing power didn't make any sense, and I think I got all the criticism I could ever get in my life at that time. We should review the decisions from the Fourth Plenary Session, as this is why people paid such close attention. You get insight into Xi Jinping's background and potential. He has held power for 13 years. What if Xi Jinping plans to step down after his third term? With the 21st Party Congress in 2027 approaching, this Fourth Plenary Session was likely the final opportunity to name a successor. Nothing was decided at the Fourth Plenary Session, and no major personnel changes occurred. They repeatedly stressed the need to implement Xi Jinping thought and for the party and people to unite around Xi Jinping during the meeting. Xi Jinping may have done this to continue his third term. In particular, we should pay attention to Jiang Xiaomin, who was promoted to Vice Chairman of the Central Military Commission this time, as well as the Secretary of the Discipline Inspection Commission of the Central Military Commission. Jiang Xiaomin led the military purge and spearheaded the anti-corruption campaign under Xi Jinping's orders. That person is now Vice Chairman. Jiang Xiaomin is an active duty officer. If a civilian vice chairman had appeared, it could have been a sign of the next successor, but since an active duty military officer has become the vice chairman, far from Xi Jinping's power being shaken, the person who led the anti-corruption campaign initiated by Xi Jinping has become the vice chairman. So Jiang Xiaomin's promotion to vice chairman of the Central Military Commission can be seen as supporting Xi Jinping's control over the military. Some analysts say Jiang Xiaomin's appointment as vice chairman of the Central Military Commission shows Xi Jinping's determination to enforce strict military discipline. In the case of Jiang Xiaomin, he is someone from the same region as Xi Jinping and Zhang Yuxia. The top three military leaders are all from Shanxi province, making it seem like the Shanxi faction dominates China's Central Military Commission. Xi Jinping's power appears even more centralized. As I mentioned earlier, the Fourth Plenary Session was the last time the succession structure was announced. On top of that, during this session, they set the target year for completing the medium and long-term reform and development goals as 2035. Some analysis suggests this move is to enable a fourth term at the 21st Party Congress in 2027. What was especially noteworthy at this Fourth Plenary Session was the mention of Taiwan and the military. At the Fourth Plenary Session, China affirmed its commitment to national reunification and called for peaceful solutions with Taiwan. In addition, it was mentioned that the Chinese military should achieve the goal of becoming a force capable of winning real battles by 2027. They called for implementing the chairman's responsibility system in the Central Military Commission, reaffirming Xi Jinping's military control. First, we should examine the meaning of the Central Military Commission chairman's responsibility system, which was highlighted this time. The chairman's responsibility system of the Central Military Commission is an institutional framework in which all military operations, personnel decisions, and military policies of the Chinese military are made solely around the chairman of the Central Military Commission, that is Xi Jinping. This means that even though the military commission exists, the actual final decision-making and command authority belongs solely to Xi Jinping as an individual. In the past, during the era of Hu Jintao, the actual control over the military was not complete, especially during Hu Jintao's time. The principle that the party commands the military was weakened, and military factions like the Green Channel emerged. However, since coming to power, Xi Jinping has completely blocked this trend. He eliminated military factions via an anti-corruption campaign and replaced leadership with loyalists. By reaffirming the chairman's responsibility in the Central Military Commission, Xi Jinping signals his intent to tighten his control over the military. In fact, the reason why rumors of Xi Jinping's downfall don't make sense is very clear. China's political system is built to prevent sudden, unpredictable power shifts like coups or forced removals. The Chinese Communist Party maintains stability through single-party rule, collective leadership, and a loyalty-based hierarchy. This acts as a political safeguard to keep the system stable. Because of China's political system, it's nearly impossible for anyone to stage a military coup against Xi Jinping. Even after Xi Jinping, any power transfer will likely be tightly controlled, involving internal coordination and procedural succession. Above all, China is a country that places extreme importance on saving face and political continuity. Even if there is a change of leadership, they try not to show any signs of chaos or instability to the outside world. Even if Xi Jinping steps down or loses power, the process will be managed as an honorable succession. Since Xi Jinping took power, yearly rumors have circulated about his downfall or health issues. However, none of these rumors have ever been confirmed as true. That's because information in China is heavily restricted. Due to its authoritarian system, China has never disclosed any information to the outside about the leader's health, conflicts within the Politburo, or opinions within the military. As a result, even just a few days of absence from public appearances, sudden personnel changes, or changes in internal meeting schedules are often overinterpreted by outsiders as signs that something major has happened. If Xi Jinping is absent from media for a while, health rumors spread. Military personnel changes often spark coup rumors. However, these incidents result from the government's lack of transparency. Most of these power loss rumors come from anonymous sources, unverified Chinese experts, or personal YouTube broadcasts. The media often uses vague terms like according to officials or overseas sources without giving solid evidence. This seriously damages the government's credibility. Because China's military movements and Politburo meetings are highly confidential, outsiders can rarely know their details. Nevertheless, the reason these rumors spread is because the secrecy of an authoritarian state actually creates an environment that encourages imagination and speculation. Above all, the most decisive evidence is their actual actions. If Xi Jinping had lost power, he couldn't have continued usual governing activities like summits or inspections. But in reality, it's the complete opposite. He is still holding talks with leaders of other countries, taking the initiative in diplomatic arenas, and making his presence felt by visiting local industries and military units in person. Xi Jinping's public schedule and remarks are clear evidence that he is still at the center of power. Moreover, these actions are not just for show, but prove that Xi Jinping still exercises absolute control within China's internal power structure. If Xi Jinping's power had truly weakened, global intelligence agencies would have noticed first. Intelligence agencies in countries like the United States, the United Kingdom, and Japan are monitoring power trends within China in real time. If Xi Jinping were ousted or losing power, international media and financial markets would react immediately. There are no such movements, indicating Xi Jinping's rule remains solid. In the end, the rumors about Xi Jinping being ousted are nothing but baseless speculation, and in fact, Xi Jinping's power is actually becoming even stronger. In fact, if you look at the results of the recent fourth plenary session, the direction of Xi Jinping's core policy line has been reaffirmed even more clearly. This is evidence that Xi Jinping's power has not been shaken, but rather has become even more solid. The fourth plenary session's resolution stated the Party Central Committee's authority, led by Xi Jinping, must be upheld. Just by looking at this phrase alone, you can see that Xi Jinping's position within the party is absolute. In conclusion, the rumors about Xi Jinping's downfall are far from reality and are nothing but illusions. China's political system is not one that can be shaken by the sudden actions of a single individual, and maintaining and stabilizing the system is the top priority above all else. On the contrary, looking at the recent situation, Xi Jinping is exercising unprecedented power and has China completely under his control. It's more accurate to say we've entered an era where Xi Jinping can do as he pleases rather than questioning if he'll lose power. We should focus on the military sector in this fourth plenary session. This meeting again showed Xi Jinping's total control over China's military. At the fourth plenary session, the goal to build a military ready to win in combat by 2027 was reaffirmed. This is not just a slogan for modernizing national defense, but a strategic system directly linked to the possibility of invading Taiwan. Whether they actually invade Taiwan in 2027 remains to be seen. 2027 marks 100 years since the Chinese People's Liberation Army's founding, making it the symbolic milestone for Xi Jinping's long-stated strong military vision. In the international community, there is analysis that China has set 2027 as a potential point for the armed reunification of Taiwan. At this plenary session, Xi Jinping once again emphasized that the complete reunification of the motherland must be achieved. However, the statement also said reunification should be pursued peacefully. However, this diplomatic softening doesn't mean military preparations will stop. China's potential invasion of Taiwan is uncertain, but this event confirms Xi Jinping now fully controls the military. By using inspections to eliminate potential opposition, filling the top military leadership with close associates from similar backgrounds, and institutionally strengthening the structure so that all military orders are concentrated in Xi Jinping personally, he has consolidated his control. By setting a combat readiness plan for 2027, Xi Jinping's military control has peaked. In other words, there is an assessment that China's military is no longer the military of the nation, but is becoming a tool for Xi Jinping's personal power. Share your thoughts on Xi Jinping's consolidation of power in the comments. That's the end of the video. Thank you.